welcome to welcome to ADVUUT tips and tricks. Now we see HTML5 latest version. At first we must to know about HTML5. What is HTML5? So that's why we want to know with HTML you can create your own website, and this tutorial teaches you everything about HTML. HTML is easy to learn. I hope you will enjoy it. This HTML tutorial contains hundreds of HTML examples, and in the HTML editor, this is the HTML editor, this is Dreamweaver, whatever you use, Dreamweaver, Notepad plus or anything else. Now at first in the Dreamweaver we take a new open a new document, HTML5, create, and here is my HTML5 document. So this is a title. There is a Doctype, starting with Doctype, HTML, starting in HTML with HTML, and here the head section, the body section. In the title, this is title page, and in the body this is a heading, and this is a paragraph starting with P and heading starting with S1. And if we watch it in the website, then it's look like this. This is a heading and this is a paragraph. But and the what is HTML? If we want to know that HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. HTML describes the structure of web pages using markup. HTML elements are the building blocks of HTML pages, and these HTML elements are represented by tags. This is tag, and HTML tags label pieces of content such as heading and paragraph, table, and so on. Browsers do not display the HTML tags but use them to render the content of the page. If we want to see another file, then this type, everything is same. Title, page title, H1, my first heading, my first paragraph, and the HTML Doctype HTML defines the document to be HTML5, and this HTML elements is the root element of an HTML pages, and the head element contains meta information about the document, and the title element specifies a title for the document, and the body element contains the visible page content, and h1 element defines a large heading, and the p this is p element defines a paragraph, and HTML tags are element names surrounded by angle brackets. This is the angle brackets, and in the angle brackets, this is the tag name, and the content goes here, and here tag name ending tag name. HTML tags normally come in pairs, like starting P and ending P. Ending P is defines as a slash. The first tag in pair in the start tag, the second tag is the end tag, and the end tag is written like the start tag but with a forward slash. This forward slash inserted before the tag name. The start tag is also called the opening tag, and the end tag is the closing tag. In the web browsers, the purpose of a web browser, I mean Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, is to read HTML documents and display them. The browser doesn't support the HTML tags but uses them to determine how to display the document, just like this. And the HTML tag structure is this: Doctype HTML, HTML head, then body, then close. Only the content inside the body, this is the inside the body section displays on a browser. And the Doctype Declaration represents the document type and helps browsers to display web pages correctly. It must only appear once at the top of the pages before any HTML tag. The HTML tag declaration is not case sensitive. The Doctype declaration for HTML tag is this. The HTML version, there have been many versions of HTML: HTML2, HTML 3.2, HTML 4.01, XHTML, and now this is HTML5. Web pages can be created and modified by using professional HTML editors. However, for learning HTML, we recommended a simple text editor like Notepad or TextEdit in Mac. We believe using a simple text editor is a good way to learn HTML. Now if we write or copy some HTML, this is the copied text, and then we save it. Save. If we save in our desktop, then extension is HTML. Save. Now we open a browser. The desktop, here is the file. If we want to see my code in the web page or browser, then we right click on the file, on my file, and then open with Opera Internet Browser as my wish. This is my output, my first heading, my first paragraph. So don't worry if this example with this text you have not learned. You will learn about them in the next tutorial. All HTML document must start with a document type declaration, doctype. The HTML document itself begins with HTML and ends with HTML. The visible part of the HTML document is between the body, between this body and this H1. Under the H1 I type my first heading. H1 defines the most important headings and H6 defines the least important heading. So now we see this. There is a lot of H1, there is lot of H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. If we want to see okay, we type this H1. This is heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5 and heading 6. There is 6 heading, so we'll just learn the all 6 headings, how to type or how to this is H1, H2, H3, H4, H5 starting like this and ending like this. If we run then, and this looks like this. H1 is the largest, and then this is heading 2, this is heading 3, 4 and 5 and 6 is the smallest. And if we want to know about the paragraph, then it's look like this. There is 3 paragraph. This is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, and this is a paragraph. All paragraphs are the same, and there is no divided different like heading is 6 kinds of heading, but paragraph is only one. Now if we want to see the output, then looks like this. This is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, and this is a paragraph. And if we want to know HTML links, then HTML links are defined with the text A. Looks like this. A, and then href hyper reference, and there is a link as you wish. I type this is a link. Then if we want to see, then it's just displayed this is a link, but not a, this is not a text, this is a link. If we put over the mouse here, then it's changed the cursor, and if we click, then it goes for the link, whatever you type here. And the link's destination is specified in the hyperreference attribute, and this is a attribute. The attributes are used to provide additional information about HTML elements. And now we see HTML images. HTML images are defined with the img tag. The source file and the alternative text, width and height are provided as attributes in the HTML images. Like this image img tag, src source, and here is a picture. We set an alternative alt for alternative, and there is a width and there is a height. And if we want to see this, it's look like this. The picture is displayed here. We don't provide provide any picture, that's why shows nothing. Now we want to see the HTML elements, and HTML element usually consists of a start tag and end tag, start tag and end tag with the content inserted in between, like this. The HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag, and the HTML elements with no content are called empty elements. Empty elements do not have an end tag, such as the BR, I mean break element, which indicates a line break. And the nested elements can be HTML elements can be nested, of course. Can be nested elements can contain elements. All HTML documents consists of nested HTML elements. And if we type this, this is my first heading and paragraph. There is a heading and paragraph, and the HTML element defines the whole element under the HTML. It has a start tag and the end tag. The HTML content is another HTML content, the body element. The body element defines the document body. It has a start tag and end tag. The element content is two other HTML elements, H1 and P for paragraph. H1 element defines a heading. It has a start tag and end tag. Element content is my first heading. This is content. P element defines a paragraph, and it has a start tag and end tag. And the content element content is my first paragraph. And do not forget the end tag. Some HTML elements will display correctly even if you forget the end tag. Suppose if we want to see, then there is not the end tag P, there is no end tag. If we want to see, we don't type any end tag, but it's appeared, it's displayed. Then this example works in all browsers because the closing tag is considered optional. Never rely on this. It might produce unexpected results and or errors if you forget the end tag. And what about empty HTML elements? HTML elements with no content are called empty elements. I mean BR tag for break. BR is an empty element without a closing tag. Empty elements can be closed in the opening tag like this. Like this. HTML5 doesn't require empty elements to be closed, but if you want stricter validation, or if you need to make your document readable by XML parsers, you must close all HTML elements properly. And HTML tags are not case sensitive. I mean, if we want to type here the capital P, doesn't matter, its work as the same as this P, I mean small letters P. HTML5 standard doesn't require lowercase text, but W3C recommends lowercases in HTML and demands lowercase for stricter document types like XML. But we use always lowercase text. Now we see attributes. Attributes provide additional information about HTML elements. All HTML element can have attributes. Attributes provide additional information about an element. We said it new. Attributes are always specified in the start tag and usually come in name, value, and the language attribute of the document can be declared in HTML tag. This HTML tag. And the language is declared with the language attribute. Declaration a language is important for accessibility applications, I mean screen readers and search engines. And the first two letters specify the language EN. If there is a dialect, use more letters, I mean just like US. And title means this title. The title attribute is added to the P elements. The value of the title attribute will be displayed as a tooltip when you mouse over the paragraph. Just like this, the title attribute. And hyperreference. What about hyperreference? We just change it. If we want to see, this is the hyperreference. Hyperreference links are defined with the tag A. And the link address is specified in the href. And you will learn more about this link and the A tag later in our next tutorial. HTML image, and now we see HTML images. HTML images are defined with the img tag, the file name of the source, src, and the size of the image defined with width, height, all are provided as an attribute, and the image size is specified in pixels. This is pixel, 104 pixel means 104 screen pixels wide. Now we see if we add here the ALT attribute. ALT attribute means alternative. Then if we refresh it, 3schools.com, alternative 3schools.com. So alternative attribute is specified an alternative text to be used when images cannot be displayed. Here the picture is not displayed, that's why this text are shown here. The value of the attribute can be read by screen readers. This way someone listening to the web page, example a blind person, can hear the example. We suggest use lowercase attributes because HTML5 standards doesn't require lowercase attribute names. The title attribute can be written with uppercase or lowercase, like this. Title, or just like this, title, as you wish. But W3C recommends lowercase in HTML and demands lowercase for stricter document types like XML, but we always use lowercase attribute names. HTML5 standard doesn't require quotas around attribute values. The href hyperreference attribute demonstrated just like this. This is a link. This is a link, and when we click it, then it works. W3C recommends quotas in HTML and demands quotas for stricter document types like XML. Sometimes it is necessary to use quotas. This example will not display the title attribute correctly because it contains a space. So we type this. And here is the output of here is the output. Using quotas are the most common. Omitting quotas can produce errors, and we always quotas around attribute values. Here the quota, this is for bold. Double quotas around attribute values are the most common in HTML, but single quotas can also be used in some situation when the attribute values itself contains double quotas. It is necessary to use single quota. Like this. There is more title wish. As you wish, you type this way, single quotation, double quotation, or if we want to type in this way, double under this is single quotation under the double quotation, as you wish. And all HTML element can have attributes, and the title attribute provides additional tooltip information. Hyperreference attribute, I mean href attribute provides address information for link. The width and height attributes provide size information for page images. The alternative, I mean ALT attribute provides text for screen readers. And in our tutorial we always use lowercase attribute names, and we always quote attribute values with double quotas. Now I go for heading. Heading are important in the HTML document. HTML heading are defined with the HTML h1 to h6 tag. Like this. H1 defines the most important heading, and the H6 defines the least important heading. Browsers automatically add some white space, I mean a margin, before and after a heading. Heading are important, so important search engines use the headings to index the structure and content of your web pages. Users skim your pages by its headings. It is important to use headings to show the document structure, and the H1 heading should be used for main headings, followed by H2 headings, then less important H3, and so on. HTML headings for headings only. Don't use headings to make text big or bold. Mind it. HTML horizontal rules, I mean HR for horizontal rule. This is HR. This is for HR. HR tag defines a thematic break in an HTML page, and most often displayed as a horizontal rule. The HR element is used to separate content or define a change in an HTML page. Just separate content. The HTML head element is a container for metadata. HTML metadata is data about the HTML document. Metadata is not displayed. Head element is placed between the HTML tag and the body tag. This HTML tag and the body tag. Now we see this is the output. Metadata typically defines the document title, character set, styles, links, scripts, and other meta information. Have you ever seen a web page and wondered, hey, how did they do that? To find out, right click on the page and select view page source, like this. View page source in Chrome or Internet Explorer or similar in another browser. This will open a window containing the HTML code of the page. Click here, HTML page, HTML code goes here. So this is paragraph P for paragraph. HTML P element defines a paragraph. Browsers automatically support at some white space margin before and after a paragraph. This is the output. You cannot be sure how HTML will be displayed, large or small. Screens and resized windows will create different results. With HTML you cannot change the output by adding extra spaces or extra lines in your HTML code. The browsers will remove any extra spaces and extra lines when the page displayed like this. Wait. Like this. If we run this like this, and of course don't forget the end tag Most browsers will display HTML correctly even if you forget the end tag. And this example will work in most browsers, but do not rely on it. Dropping the end tag can produce unexpected results or error. The HTML BR element defines a line break. Here is the BR without starting a new paragraph. BR tag is an empty tag, which means that it has no end tag. This output is over here. This poem displays on a single line. So if we use BR, then it looks the output like this, like a poem. If we the pre-tag, if we use pre-tag, pre-element defines pre-formatted text. The text inside a pre-element is displayed in a fixed width font, usually Courier, and it preserves both spaces and line breaks, just like this. Okay, now our HTML5 first tutorial or introducing chapter is end, and then we learn about more in our next tutorial. Till then, stay fine. If you like my video, then subscribe my channel. Thank you.